Hello everyone. Welcome back to Stock Market Meridian. Today is 28th August 2026 and you are watching today's pre-market report. Let's begin with the global markets. Starting with the US markets. Yesterday, all major US indices closed in the strong positive zone. However, currently US index futures are trading on the negative side. Moving to the European markets. Only the DAX index closed in the green while the remaining major European indices ended in the red. Now, looking at the Asian markets. Japan, China and South Korea markets are currently trading in the positive zone. So overall, global market cues are indicating a neutral to positive sentiment for today's session. Now, let's move to commodities. And once again, crude oil remains an important market trigger. US WTI crude oil is currently trading around $82 to $84 per barrel, while Brent crude is trading near $89 to $91 per barrel. Yesterday, Indian crude oil futures gained nearly 0.85%, while natural gas futures jumped around 4.2%. However, precious metals moved in the opposite direction. Indian gold futures fell more than 0.4%, while silver futures gained around 0.4%. Now let's check ADR data. Among the major Indian ADRs, only Infosys closed in positive territory. Meanwhile, Dr. Reddy's Labs, ICICI Bank, Wipro, Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank ADRs all closed in the negative zone. The biggest concern was HDFC Bank ADR, which declined around 3%, indicating continued selling pressure in the stock. Interestingly, Wipro ADR was at one point trading nearly 7% higher, following the news around its Google Cloud AI collaboration. However, those gains completely faded and Wipro ADR eventually closed in negative territory. So overall, ADR cues remain cautious, with HDFC Bank particularly in focus today. Now, let's check the FII and DII data. After 3 consecutive sessions of buying, FIIs turned net sellers yesterday, selling around 298 crore rupees. But there was strong support from domestic institutions. DIIs were net buyers of nearly 4,977 crore rupees. So, despite the FII selling, the overall institutional flow remained positive, thanks to heavy DII buying. And that gives the market an important cushion going into today's session. Now, let's look at the economic calendar. Yesterday, the US initial jobless claims data came in below both the previous reading and market expectations, indicating a relatively stronger labor market picture. Looking ahead, today we have 2 important Indian data releases: industrial production data and foreign exchange reserves data. Apart from these, there are no major economic events scheduled for today. So the market could remain focused mainly on global cues, institutional flows and stock-specific developments. Now, let's move to the geopolitical developments. Diplomatic efforts are underway between Qatar and Iran to establish a phased framework for restoring safe maritime navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Discussions include a possible joint project to clear naval mines and create a temporary maritime corridor for commercial vessels. Iran is also reportedly preparing a formal list of conditions to present to the United States for the full reopening of the strait. But there's still a major problem. Military friction and maritime strikes continue. The UK Maritime Trade Operations reported that an oil tanker was set on fire after being hit by an unknown projectile inside the Strait of Hormuz. With the strait handling a major portion of global oil and LNG shipments, continued disruption could keep a geopolitical risk premium in crude prices. So, for Indian markets, this remains a key factor to watch, especially for oil marketing companies, refiners, airlines, and the broader inflation outlook. Now, let's move to the company-specific updates announced after the market close. Lenskart, 1,313 crore block deal. Let's start with Lenskart, where a major institutional stake sale is in focus today. Alpha Wave Ventures 2 is looking to sell up to 1.2% stake in Lenskart through a secondary block deal. The transaction is worth up to approximately $137 million or around 1,313 crore rupees. Up to 20.8 million shares are being offered at a floor price of 630 rupees per share, around 1.7% below Lenskart's previous closing price. Importantly, this is a 100% secondary sale. That means the proceeds will go to the selling shareholder and Lenskart itself will not receive fresh capital. The seller has also committed to a 45-day lockup period. So today, Lenskart could remain in focus because of the size of this institutional block deal. Now, here's an AI-related update that could keep Wipro in focus. Wipro is expanding its collaboration with Google Cloud, integrating advanced AI models directly into its software engineering and enterprise delivery operations. The company plans to train more than 10,000 AI-certified specialists, including 1,500 forward-deployed engineers. Wipro will also use Gemini Enterprise and agentic AI technologies across areas such as HR, compliance, sales intelligence, software development, and legacy modernization. The company has introduced its LIFT framework to help enterprises move from basic automation toward autonomous AI workflows. In simple terms, Wipro is trying to turn AI from a pilot project into a full-scale enterprise operation. That makes the stock an important one to watch today. Next, a big order update for TEJAS Networks. The company has received a letter of intent from Tata Consultancy Services valued at approximately 1,537 crore rupees. The order involves supplying RAN equipment, accessories, and installation materials for 18,685 BSNL 4G sites. The detailed purchase order will be issued by TCS in due course. This deal gives TEJAS Networks significant visibility into the ongoing BSNL 4G rollout. So the key takeaway is simple. A 1,537 crore rupee opportunity adds meaningful strength to TEJAS Networks' order pipeline. Now let's move to the electric two-wheeler space. Hero MotoCorp is investing 1,758 crore rupees to acquire additional shares in ATHER Energy. This will increase Hero MotoCorp's holding from 29.88% to approximately 32.8% on a fully diluted basis. The transaction is expected to be completed by 3rd September 2026. The move gives Hero MotoCorp greater exposure to ATHER's electric two-wheelers, charging infrastructure, and battery ecosystem. So, Hero MotoCorp is clearly increasing its strategic commitment to the EV market. And this could be another important development for India's growing electric mobility story. Now let's come to BPCL, where geopolitical tensions are directly affecting crude procurement. BPCL is preparing to receive its first Iraqi crude cargo of the current financial year. Iraq reportedly offered steep discounts of around $30 on August loading Basra crude to encourage refiners to lift volumes. BPCL has also secured a vessel capable of transporting the crude to Fujairah for a ship-to-ship transfer, helping reduce Strait of Hormuz transit risks. The company says it can absorb higher insurance costs and even 30 to 45 days of additional demurrage as long as refining margins remain commercially viable. BPCL has already secured its crude requirements for September and is working on October supplies. So, with global crude supply facing geopolitical uncertainty, BPCL's ability to secure discounted and diversified crude supplies will remain important. Here's another major financial sector update. LIC has invested 5,000 crore rupees in Bajaj Finance's non-convertible debentures. LIC acquired 5 lakh NCDs with each debenture carrying a face value of rupees 1 lakh. The transaction was completed through RTGS on 27th August. For Bajaj Finance, this provides long-term funding that can support loan book expansion, working capital, capex, and refinancing. And for LIC, it provides a long-term yield-generating fixed income investment. So this is essentially a major long-term funding boost for Bajaj Finance. Now, the data center theme comes into focus. Adani Connects, the data center joint venture of Adani Enterprises, has acquired 100% of Chandanwale Infra Park Limited from Adani Power. The transaction value is rupees 535.69 crores in cash. The key attraction is the company's large land parcel and pre-secured regulatory licenses, which can help accelerate the development of new data center facilities. The acquisition supports Adani Connect's ambition to build a large-scale, green-powered data center network. With AI and cloud computing driving demand for data centers, this acquisition strengthens Adani Connect's infrastructure pipeline. Next, an order update from NBCC. The company has secured 5 new domestic work orders worth approximately rupees 134.27 crore rupees, excluding GST. The projects cover school campuses, a center of excellence, and commercial banking infrastructure. More than 82% of the total value, around 110.58 crore rupees, comes from projects for Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan across Bihar and Jharkhand. The projects span Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha, and Kerala. So while the order size may not be massive, it adds another layer of visibility to NBCC's pan-India project pipeline. And finally, let's look at ACME Solar, where the energy storage story is gaining momentum. ACME Suryodaya, a wholly owned subsidiary of ACME Solar Holdings, has commissioned 15 megawatt/240.752 megawatt-hour of battery energy storage system capacity in Rajasthan. The project is located in Jaisalmer, one of India's major solar energy regions. The commissioning was completed on 27th August, while the commercial operation date is scheduled for 29th August. With this addition, ACME Suryodaya's aggregate commissioned capacity has reached 300 megawatt/1354.224 megawatt-hour. Battery storage is becoming increasingly important for managing peak demand, reducing power curtailment, and supporting round-the-clock renewable energy. So this is another step forward in ACME Solar's large-scale energy storage expansion. And that's all for today's pre-market report. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stock Market Meridian. And I'll see you again this evening with today's post-market report. Thank you for watching. Signing off, Jai Hind.